Look at Zani. Why am I able to look at so much stuff in chat for like stuff that's up? Huh? Is it 4, 3, 3, 1? What? We got a 4 cost crit rate, a 3 cost crit rate, a 3 cost attack, a 1 cost attack, and a 1 cost ER main stat echo. Bro, this is AI. Why she got a recommended defense stat, bro? This is fucking cooked, brother. The fuck is this? A 1 cost heavy attack, damn it. What the fuck? What am I reading here, brother? Kuro Games. What are we doing here? Why is every single sequence node recommended? Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to talk about the elefante in the room that has occurred in version 2.4. And that is the fact that my career, ladies and gentlemen, it might actually be ruined. If you're all familiar with the channel, then one thing that I think all of you all will have noticed at this point is that I do this thing called guides. I make guides. Quite a few of them, actually. Yeah, despite what people might tell you about my channel being entirely like drama bait or engagement farming or rage baiting, yeah, I actually have a lot of guides on this bad boy. And this is the thing. This is the unfortunate part about this circumstance. It appears that I might not be able to make guides anymore, ladies and gentlemen, because Kuro Games has done something a little bit crazy, and that is create their guide depot. And so I decided, why don't we go ahead and take a look at what this guide depot is? Let's see what is threatening my livelihood on YouTube and the livelihood of so many other creators, and check it all out and verify whether or not this is actually going to be something that changes everything for us for the worse. So with that, let's go ahead, let's take a look, let's break down a couple of the key sort of visuals that we'll be seeing over here. So I think the first thing that we all got to talk about when it comes to these guides is that they're going to be essentially, right, a bit more of a, I'm going to be entirely honest here, self-led exercise. The nice thing about videos is the ability for you to go ahead and, you know, kind of like sit back, relax, and have all the information told to you. This is something that you're going to have to actually read, click around a little bit, and actually engage with a little bit more. This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Asking gacha players to read is widely considered one of the most difficult expectations in the space. And so I think just right off the rip, that is going to be a bit of a debuff for this feature. Because let's be honest here, a lot of people are really lazy. So let's just go ahead, and now that we're in here, take a look at this Cartethyia guide that they have ready. So I think first thing that we should talk about is the fact that there's actually going to be functionality for multiple guides. People are going to like show you all, you know, some of the simple rotations, team compositions, that sort of stuff. And you'll be able to see who this was contributed by. And I'm going to be a little bit honest over here. I think that this guide is actually pretty okay. A lot of the stuff that I agree with over here, you know, things like the Forte Circuit priority, all of that, it is in there. But there's a couple of other things that I'm finding absolutely a little bit shocking. The first and foremost being the fact that her teammates are a little bit strange. First and foremost being, I don't even know why Phoebe is here. Maybe this is supposed to be talking about like the potential synergy between like a confession mode Phoebe and her applying Spectrofrazzle and Arrow Rover coming in and converting it. I don't think so. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing. So, yeah, I would dare even say that it probably should have only had one alternative over here. That's probably like the main thing that I would talk about over here. Yeah, they got like things like a resonator profile, guide overview. They've got like recommended stats as well. And so I think like as a whole, this is probably like a good sort of like checklist, because you'll be able to directly see what stats you actually have in game and then compare it to what's actually in the guide. However, you kind of also have to make sure that what's in the guide actually makes a lot of sense, because I think that a lot of the stats that we're going to be seeing on here, they're a little bit unnecessary. For example, Cartethyia needs nowhere close to 130 plus ER and nowhere close to 50k HP. I would say these are going beyond recommended. These are almost getting into like god tier level investment. Getting all of these stats on one set of echoes almost requires you to have like a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5 substat on every single piece. you might need every single substat possible. And I think that when it comes to like a recommendation and, you know, what players should actually be grinding for, getting a substat profile that looks like this is going to require so many tuners, so many echo rolls, so much investment that you might have been able to build 3, 4, maybe 5 other units in the time that it would take you to like micromanage stats to get to this point. And so I would just say, as like a tip for newer players, you don't need anywhere close to these stats to be able to like clear content in any game mode in the game. This is like, I don't think recommended is the right term over here. This is like max level investment. And I think that there definitely needs to be like a bit of a tempering on the expectations, because what I would hate is for a new player to just log in and think that these are the stats that they need to be able to even like start the end game. And that is just, this level of investment is kind of fucking absurd. So this is probably the best guide that they actually do have available. But unfortunately, right, let me just do a quick double check over here. Okay, these are just showing the secondary stat. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's decent. Yeah, I guess there are like a couple of small things that can obviously be like edited later. But I think like the main parts about, you know, the information here being really wordy, and then some of the information being really relatively unachievable for the average player, I think that there could be quite a few adjustments made. But this is probably going to be the best overall guide that they have available. Now, though, this is where stuff gets a little bit unfortunate. We've got to talk about some of the other guides that aren't really that great, because there's quite a few of them that have some issues. The first and foremost being actually the third character on here, and that's the Canterella set. So you're going to notice, right? Oh, Saint, why didn't you click the switch guide button? Because for pretty much for every single character, there's only going to be one guide. And this is the situation. Canterella is a sub DPS who has a buffing outro skill. And this is the set that they decided to put on her. I'm going to be honest here. If you follow some of the guides that are in here, you might actually like brick your account. And by brick your account, I mean have echo builds that are like just not what they're supposed to be and waste a shit ton of tuners and waste a shit ton of EXP. Because if you're going ahead and using Havoc Eclipse on Canterella, I think you've lost the plot completely. And I'm not sure why a Havoc Eclipse set with a Nightmare Crownless is the #1 recommended build, and also the only build that you have available for this unit, when she's being used as a sub DPS in a Jinsei Jeda team, where by all means you should be running like an Empyrene Anthem or a Moonlit Clouds on her. I guess this is the thing. I'm not particularly sure where this build is even coming from, and why they would even put something like this on the page when they're using it as a sub DPS and then they're putting a main DPS set on her. The good news is that it appears things like the skill order seem to be relatively okay, nothing too crazy over here, but I just fundamentally am not really sure where a lot of this stuff overall is like coming from. Like even with things like the ER, guys, getting 140% ER with Canterella on Havoc Eclipse and her signature weapon requires 4 to 5 ER substat rolls. You will need every single one of your echoes to have an ER roll on it to reach 140 ER. This is stuff that I would really just hesitate when it comes to guides contributed by WW Echoes to take a lot of the stuff that you're seeing here particularly. I would take a lot of it with a grain of salt. At least they have like the alternative set here as Midnight Veil. But when your recommended team is with Jancy, put Moonlit Clouds, which gives the ER. And then for Canterella, you only need 130% ER to have smooth rotations. I feel like there's a lot of potential misinformation here. I feel like the builds that they're recommending across a lot of these different guides are either completely unattainable or will get players wasting a fuck ton of tuners looking for stats that they literally don't need at all. There is no reason on God's green earth that Canterella needs 140% ER. And then we're not even putting the sets, ladies and gentlemen, that literally give ER, like Empyrine Anthem. And we're even disregarding what the game itself recommends. We have Havoc Eclipse as the #1 recommended build, and it's not even suggested in-game. We have Empyrine Anthem and Moonlit Clouds instead, which are way better choices when Canterella is being used as a sub DPS. And again, these are the sets that give ER and make it really easy for Canterella to get to 130. And so yeah, guys, that's going to be an example of a really, really, really bad fucking build that's in here. So now let's go ahead and let's just check out a third one, because I think that this should probably be sort of like the final judge of whether or not, you know, these are actually things that we should be keeping top of mind. Why don't we just look at, how's the Yinlin one? Okay, the Yinlin one looks okay. How's the Jeda one? Okay. Alrighty. Let's break this one down a little bit. On their Jeda guide, they are recommending 140% ER once again, which when Jeda only needs 130. And they're also suggesting that you run an ER 3 cost and an attack 3 cost. These builds, I don't know what's going on with WuWa Echoes or WW Echoes. They're putting in some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen. I am telling you, you have to know which of these guides are good and which of these guides are actually just peddling you some of the worst misinformation you can have when it comes to building characters. And it appears that a lot of the sub DPS builds that are on this guide, I don't know if they were like generated by AI or if they're just like random shit that they're like copy and pasting for every character, because some of the stuff is like actually accurate, right? And I think that's what makes these guides so dangerous, is that stuff like the Weckman recommendations, the teams, the skill priority, like, all of that stuff is, like, it's good, right? It's accurate. But then you have shit like the actual investment, like the substats, all of that, the actual sets, and they're just, like, completely fucked up. They're, like, cooked. This one shows my echoes, right? And then this one shows the recommended ones. I'm over here with crit damage, attack, glacial damage bonus, and this is giving you ER and then an attack 3 cost on Moonlit Clouds. Which is, there's no reason to run those stats on Moonlit Clouds. It should be double Glacio on this set. And then they're giving you a fucking Freezing Frost build. And they aren't even recommending Empyrine Anthem. Huh? It's either Moonlit Clouds or main DPS G-Jaw. I don't understand what they're trying to do with this stuff. Genuinely. And so, I guess this is the thing, right? I would really hesitate to tell players that they should just use the Guide Depot as like their one-stop shop on how to build every single character, because you will, without a doubt, brick the fuck out of your account if you follow every single build guide that is on here. You will chase for stats, you will roll echoes, you will throw away ones that actually work, searching for compilations that are absolutely completely useless, like having 140 ER on your Canterella or Jeda, and you will make a ton of mistakes that you wish you could take back. You will lose hours, days, or even weeks of progress following what is outlined in here. There are some decent guides, right, made by certain creators. I think Sydney Marr actually makes this Carlotta guide, and this one's actually, like, pretty good, right, pretty decent. And, you know, it's good in the text format. But you have to make sure that you're actually reading a guide that's done by somebody that's, like, not on crack. We're going crit rate on our Nightmare Crownless when Camellya has a crit rate weapon. If we follow what's literally in the guide, ladies and gentlemen, how in God's name, when we have an attack 3 cost and a crit rate 4 cost, if I just follow, how am I going to have 65% crit rate with a crit rate weapon and a crit rate 4 cost? How am I going to have 97% Havoc damage bonus when you told me to use an attack 3 cost? Even if you follow what's in the guide, it is literally impossible to get the stats that are recommended on here. I don't think, it seems like half the stuff in here wasn't even close to double checked. And we don't even have an ER, recommended ER for a unit like Camellya, who wants to use her liberation every rotation. The recommended ER for Camellya is 120, and they don't even list that. And so there's important information that is omitted from these guides that actually makes the character feel way more functional. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's a good thing that this is the only guide that people see when they pop up the page and they don't see the other ones. Because I swear to God, I feel like there's something wrong with every other guide that's on here. I genuinely think there is like something horrifically fucked up that will like actually brick a new player's account, set them back weeks of progress if you actually follow the guides that are in here. So let me take that back. I don't think Kuro Games ruined my career. I feel like Kuro Games has potentially actually amplified my career because there are going to be a fuck ton of people that follow these guides, brick the fuck out of their account, and will need like help fixing them. They need to double check and verify whatever the fuck this WuWa Echoes guy is uploading. Get like a professional resource. And yo, get Brax, get me, get I Went to Loose to just look at these builds because they're fucking cooked. I'm genuinely concerned people are gonna use this resource in game and fuck their account up. Fucking get Maggie, bro. What about this guy? What's wrong with the Chikona one? It doesn't look. Phoebe and Zani, and then Shorekeeper and where the fuck's Cartethyia, bro? I hope these gonna be updated fast. Look at Zani. Why am I able to look at so much stuff in chat for like stuff that's fucked up? Huh? What the fuck? Is it 4-3-3-1? What? She released last patch. We got a 4-cost crit rate, a 3-cost crit rate, a 3-cost attack, a 1-cost attack, and a 1-cost ER main stat echo. Bro, this is AI. This guide depot, WuWa Echoes, nobody double check this. The thing is just, it's so unfortunate because this interface is like really cool. It's like really good. Why she got a recommended defense stat, bro? This is fucking cooked, brother. Why she got a recommended defense stat? What the fuck? It's got so much stuff that's good, right? It like reads the stat of your character. It reads like what you have equipped. It takes a look at like what your echoes are, lets you do like the comparisons. The fuck is this? A 1-cost heavy attack, damn it. What the fuck? What am I reading here, brother? Come on, man. Kuro Games. What are we doing here? Kuro Games. Why is this normal attack? Or like, what are we doing here, bro? Why is every single sequence node recommended? Come on. Come on, man. I genuinely think the only guide on here that got proofread are the ones that aren't made by WuWa Echoes, or the one guide by WuWa Echoes, the fucking Cartethyia guide. This might be the only one that's been done properly. Genuinely, I think this might be the only one. There's probably something fucked up in every single other one. Okay, the Shorekeeper ones, I guess, is okay. Alright, I mean... Oh, right. It's because it wasn't made by WuWa Echoes. Oh, okay, that's why. I see why the Shorekeeper one is okay. Yeah, I double-checked and I looked at the top right to see who contributed this one. Yeah. Okay, I'm beginning to see now. So, yeah, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, this has given you all a bit of, like, an overview of, like, just what the fuck is wrong with this entire guide depot system that they put into the game. Because, oh my goodness, I am absolutely in shock at the absurd lack of quality that there is in so many of the guides that we saw today. And hopefully those examples, those striking instances of just overstated investment or absolutely impossible to actually obtain stat profiles, that will motivate you to go beyond this when you're building your characters, when you're looking for echoes to farm, when you're looking for main stats to actually work with, because there is just straight up a fuckload of misinformation present across this entire page that will, without a doubt, like I said before, brick the fuck out of your account and set you back weeks of progress. And in a gacha game with time-limited resources where you hate feeling like you're not making any progress. Losing progress in a game like this is one of the biggest motivators you can have to actually quit the game, put it down, because nobody likes having their time wasted. And I feel like Kuro Games needs to take action on this, because I guarantee they are going to lose players, lose spenders. People will quit the game because they will follow the guides that are in here and fuck up their characters. I don't even know why nobody double-checked this. I'm going to be honest. It's a little bit cringe. So yeah, let me know what you all think, guys. I'm calling out everybody here. Or really, I'm really calling out WuWa Echoes, because what the f are they uploading here? And I'm also calling out Kuro Games as well, because why are you letting this WuWa Echoes guy completely brick the reputation of your resources? So yeah, let me know what you all think, guys. Peace.